What's going on, everybody? So it's been about a week since I got the split protection case for the Nintendo Switch 2, and this is a case from Jsaux if you don't know. This case basically can allow you to detach your controllers and also have the opportunity to have decent grips while playing a game. I think so far that this is probably the best Nintendo Switch 2 case, mainly because you can actually use the kickstand no problem. And it actually comes with a protective shell, so you can fully protect your Nintendo Switch 2 on the go, on the road, anytime you want. The only thing I've noticed is that the protective shell is actually a little difficult to take off, mainly because this part here detaches quite frequently. So it's a very thin layer which comes off every time you put that protective shield onto it, and as you can see, it's a little loose at the bottom, and that may be a problem if you want to take off the protective shell and dock your system, because the USB-C down here may be misaligned because of the case. But I think the grips are the best feature about this, simply because they have a good weight to them. I think I was missing a certain amount of weight with the Joy-Con 2s. You can just take them off simply by actually attaching it back into the Switch 2 and then pulling from down here. It comes off pretty easy, as you can see. But so far, the best thing about this case is the fact that you can actually detach the controllers anytime you want. And it kind of works like a fidget toy, in my opinion. I can't stop detaching and reattaching the controllers, and this case does not help that addiction. But with long play sessions, I feel like these grips are very serviceable. They stick out slightly, so you're not going to run into the problem where your fingers get cramped because you have to reach over into an awkward position. Since these grips are so prominent, you'll rarely run into that issue. The only thing I would assume that would make this more comfortable are thumbstick caps. But as you can see, you have easy access to the top USB-C, volume button, power button, and I think that's the reset button along with the vents and the game card slot. There is also access to the micro SD card in the back here because you have access to the stand as well. But yeah, overall, I'm impressed with this case. I think it's everything I wanted. I was waiting about 5 months for this case to drop because it was set to pre-order well before the Switch 2's release. So I was just waiting a very long time for this case. And honestly, it is worth the wait. I think seeing how comfortable and light this case is really speaks volumes to the work that Jsaux did. And it shows how many times they actually had to redesign this when it came to this piece of the case. I know that this required a lot of redesign to include accessibility to the stand, but at the end of the day, this case doesn't disappoint. I feel like it's so easy to put the shell on, and taking it off is easy enough. It's not really a big problem. But the main feature I was worried about was the detachable controllers, if they would react, similar to how the Kill Switch case had some kind of malfunction where if you were to turn this a certain way, the Joy-Cons just fall off. But that doesn't seem to be the issue with the Split Protection Pro case for the Switch 2. Now, I'm not sure if it's called the Split Protection Pro or the Split Protective case. They've renamed it so many times, I'm assuming because of some of the redesigns that they had, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the case came out incredibly well. And if you're looking for a case for the Switch 2 with an amazing value, this only cost $30, and it comes with detachable grips as well as the hard shell in the back and the protective shell as well. It comes with all these pieces for only $30. I feel like this is an incredible value, especially considering the fact how well this protects your Switch 2. And so far, I'm having a great time, and it's very comfortable to use all around. I don't really have any gripes with this. If there was one gripe, it would be the flimsiness of the back shell, but sometimes it isn't that flimsy, so it's kind of 50-50 when it comes to reliability with that thing. But it hasn't really caused any trouble with the dock, so this case actually fits on the dock very well. As you can see here, you can just put the case onto it. It doesn't really wiggle around anymore because it's so much thicker than the original Switch 2's dimensions, but that's a good thing because you don't want this to wiggle around because it'll actually scratch the screen protector or screen if you don't have a protection on your screen. But as you can see, it fits almost like it was made for the dock, which probably was, and you could detach the controllers and reattach them no problem. I feel like this is the most accessible, affordable, and fancy case you can get for the money. I think Jsaux knocked it out of the park with this one. I give this case a 9 out of 10, and I take away 1 point because of the hard shell's flimsiness sometimes, but besides that, it's almost perfect perfect case for the Switch 2. I feel like people are going to love this and they're never going to look back, especially if they had a kill switch case and they need to bring that back to dbrand. You may as well just get this one, which is half the price, comes with just as many features, and it's actually designed for the Switch 2 opposed to some kind of concept that they got early. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. What do you think about the split protective case for the Switch 2? Are you going to get one? If they had this in white, I would get another one. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Later.